Welcome back, guys. Episode 4. You got me on there? 4. Exorcast. 4 episodes, 4 years. Make
If
the
you're
joke again,
seeing
I
this,
guess.
you made it a month.
We've
Yep.
yeah, well, sort of, almost a month, yeah.
Yep.
So on this episode, we're continuing on. This should be around the end of June when this goes up. So still Pride Month, and we are doing knife+heart or knife+heart. I'm not sure. It's got the little plus
I'm not
sign
even
in
sure
there.
if it's even nice plus heart could be for all I know. Yeah.
But Chuck was pretty adamant, even up until last night. It was called Lock and Key.
Well, I wait the last minute, and then but by that time we get the last minute 0 hour, I've got the wrong information, so I'm scrambling to figure out what's going on.
So
I get caught hours. So if we talk about it, most of the time we talk about it while I'm probably half asleep or asleep.
That's true. When
Yeah,
Chuck
it was
texts
yesterday
me
night.
at like 10 a.m., I'm shocked that he's awake.
Yeah. He was discussing figuring out how to watch it yesterday at 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Yes. Well, to be fair, it's 10 o'clock his time.
Yes. That is, yes. Yes.
So, again, we record back-to-back episodes, so we don't have to cram stuff together and do this as frequent. No real news because we hit on it in episode 3. But I would like to point out that if you guys want to comment, and again, we could have comments on previous videos that we're talking to people on, and I have no idea because we're currently recording things, and things haven't been released yet. But if you leave comments on the videos, we will respond and talk to you, and you can still email us at exorcast@gmail.com. And there's an Instagram page now. It's just at Exorcast.
Are we planning to put them on the website?
As soon as I figure out what the fuck the password is, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
And then these episodes will be on there.
I can't figure out what the password on my old stuff is either.
I'm pretty sure I gave the password to Chuck and told him not to forget it.
You did, I think.
See? You figure it out.
Wasn't it the same password as like your WWE Network thing?
Maybe. I'll try that. I'll try.
Not that I use his network or anything.
No.
Do you still use my network?
I haven't used it in a while.
Okay. I don't care.
You think he'd say it online?
I use Chuck's Voodoo.
Yeah.
I usually just wait because, like, they stop where you can't have 2 streams at one time. So if I want to watch it live, I have to find other ways to watch it while it's live.
I would be like, oh, hey, Chuck, pay-per-view's over. Get on in 15 minutes and it's yours. And so he'd stay up all night
to be
and watch
online
it.
and not have nothing spoiled, when you do that.
That's true. So this is a French movie. And
yes, the French title is Un couteau dans le corps, which is a knife in the heart. So you'd think they could have just kept it that way, but yeah.
And if you couldn't tell, it's a giallo.
It is a giallo.
Yes.
Which is exciting because
there's
not enough. Not enough of them.
A new one that looks old.
Yeah.
Well, it took place in 79?
Yep.
Supposed to be, yeah. Something like that.
So it was directed by Yann Gonzalez? Right? I didn't write it down.
Gonzalez.
Has he done anything else?
Good question.
We'll find out right now. A couple of short films. You and the Night in 2013. Land of My Dreams 2012. We Will Never Be Alone. All of these are short films.
Yeah, You and the Night is a long one, but everything else is pretty much short films. You did a TV show. Yeah. Pretty much a bunch of short films.
So this is a big moment.
Oh yeah, and they even apparently they submitted it to Cannes for the Palme d'Or.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you, James, actually picked this one. Do you want to give a little synopsis?
So I picked it because I saw the trailer. The trailer looked amazing and very unique, but the general synopsis is you have a porn director, specifically a gay porn director. The synopsis I read called her a third-rate gay porn director.
Low budget for sure.
What?
I said low budget for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very. And basically she's making her usual movies, and there's a black masked killer with a dildo switchblade.
It's fucking cool,
And
man.
it's amazing, yes.
It's fucking
And
cool.
he's stalking the gay clubs around France, and he kills one of her actors. So she gets questioned by the police. The police talk to her about it, and she decides, screw it, I'm going to make a new movie. I'm going to call it Homicidal. And I'm going to make it about the killings and the investigation. As she keeps making the movie, the killer keeps killing more people, and at the same time, her relationship's breaking down, and she's kind of going a little crazy from that. And so,
With her editor.
you're not really sure. With her editor, yes, with her editor Luis, and you're not really sure who's really the killer, what's real, what's not. She has really strange black and white dreams sometimes, but yeah, it's about the gist of it.
So why do I feel
That
Vincent
is
would
about
love
the gist of it. You know what? While I was watching it, I messaged him, and I haven't heard back from him. And I said, you should probably check out Knife+heart on Shudder, because there is a dildo switchblade, and I think that's right up your alley.
Oh yeah.
What was that one movie that came out years ago? It was like a shot on video movie, but the killer had like a leather S&M mask with the zipper thing on it. It was like
Morbid.
no, before this was it called like Zipper or something like that? Was it Zipper Face maybe?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, no, we reviewed that on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Zipperhead or Zipperface or something like that.
Zipperface.
It was from the 90s. It was actually pretty good, and it gave us so many turns we couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on, and it just like blew all of our minds.
Well, sometimes in this I didn't know what was going on, but
yeah,
her little artsy dreams kind of throw me off a little bit.
It's shot really well, and I get the feeling, like anybody that makes a giallo, that the director was a big fan of Dario Argento back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, it is different because usually you've got a bunch of these, hot women, French women, Italian women, and this time it's all gay, right? But
yeah,
it's a
in a lot of those you get first person from the black gloved killer, and you don't really get that in this.
So there's a little American mixed in with it.
Yeah.
But
that's the other thing. You don't really have a black gloved killer. You have a black masked one,
Mm-hmm.
Still had the black gloves on because he had to hide his hands.
True.
The killer looks cool, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure about our gap tooth director lead, But everything else, I was okay with.
Yeah.
Well, and what really threw me off was that, like, whatever was going on up here, and she decided to make Homicidal, and it was literally about what's going on. And she even had somebody, a male, playing her with using her name, and one of the guys that died, Frank, I believe was his name. They put the names in there. And it was not like just some made up story. It was literally following what was going along. And then, of course, it had some big, like, elaborate, crazy ending to it.
As the giallos want to do.
Her porno, I mean. But, yeah, but this thing threw a couple of different curves at me, and I had no idea where it was going, especially when she was, like, going and researching those feathers.
Yeah.
And I from that point on, I thought, like, well, this movie's taken a drastic turn from what I think it is, and it comes full circle back around. But the story is so good, and it makes so much sense.
It fits together really well.
I just I wasn't expecting, like, I knew it was going to be good because a lot of people in the horror community that I respect their opinions, because there's a lot of them I don't. And I know someone comes to mind right away, but they all put this on their top 10 list from last year. So it's been on my radar to watch for a while now. And when you said, let's watch it, I immediately said, yes, let's do it. Because I really wanted to.
It's been out since 2019, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had never heard of it till you guys mentioned it.
I don't know when it got to Shudder, but I know they were promoting it as part of their Pride Month selections this month.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it fits, and like I said, it's I like the style of it a lot, and it kind of looks kind of old, and I like that, and it's pretty violent in spots, which violence is always good for me. But like I said, it gets a little weird near the end, but it gets a little weird before the end, but it gets super weird, I think,
Yeah.
at the end. But I still enjoyed it.
In terms
And
of the
I'll
killings,
say-
was that the
Go ahead.
was that the only one in terms of the killings who knew beyond a shadow of a doubt what was about to happen on the second kill? The ending of the second kill, I mean, how it finished, shall we say? I mean, you knew what the thing already was, so if he's doing that, then it's the only logical ending, you know?
I will say the first kill was probably my favorite
It's a
because
good
it was
one.
just it was wasn't expecting it.
Mhm. I remember the text you got. I remember the text I got from you while you were watching it. I believe you said he has a dildo switchblade. That's awesome, or something like that.
And I will say, like, most like Bava and Argento giallos, where any of the sex or nudity is like really tasteful. This
Mhm.
kind of followed in suit.
Yes, very much.
And I mean, I've watched a lot of German splatter with Eli, and I've straight up seen gay porn in some of those like Andreas Beethman movies, and it's just
Mhm.
whatever. I've seen it, it's fine, whatever. They didn't actually do that in this. Like a lot of making out and everything was insinuated,
Mhm.
but it was all really tasteful. Like the whole
Mhm.
movie was fucking good, man. Like,
Mhm. It's great. What do you think about the music?
soundtrack was pretty good.
It's pretty on target for a Giallo. It has some moments that are more so than others, but yeah.
If they released that on wax, I'd probably buy it for sure. Unless it's
Because I
out
was
there and I
telling
don't
my,
know about it, because then I'll go buy
it
it
might
now.
be. I was telling my wife because she was kind of watching this one alongside me, and I said, "You think?" Because she doesn't know much about Giallo. I said, "The thing about Giallo is there's a blueprint to a Giallo in a general sense. In a general sense, your Black Glove Killer, etc." I said, "But in reality, it's a pretty general blueprint." I said, "So you have a lot of latitude to kind of mess with it and kind of play with it how you want to play with it, basically."
Yeah.
And that very much does that.
And a lot of giallos there's not a high body count, which we didn't really have in this. It's
Mhm.
mostly
No
story
need.
driven. Yeah, there's no need. It was story driven. I mean, it ticked all the boxes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was the thing that struck me the most is just how well it nailed that. Because I'll admit I've never seen A Mare or Strange Color or Your Body's Tears yet, but those are the ones I always heard about, like were the big modern Jallos. I hadn't heard like nothing about this until I saw the trailer. This really nails it, and I'm really surprised by that.
Amir
There
was
hasn't been a
really
lot
good.
of giallos lately, have
What?
giallo films? Like there hadn't been a whole bunch of them lately.
No. Well, that Jesse from Diabolic, his new company, Cauldron Films, is
Mhm.
doing that Abracadabra, which is a modern giallo. I don't know much about it, although that I'm pretty sure they're supposed to start shipping next week, and I'm excited. But
Mhm.
yeah, there was a mirror and the strange color of your body's tears, which I have the second there, but I've not watched it yet. And
There was
then
one that Unearthed Films put out that was kind of a giallo.
I don't. I heard about it.
Oh, I was just talking about like that one from Unearthed was actually pretty good. It was kind of like Francesca or something like that. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
Francesca. We were still
and
doing
they did
like original
one.
Exorcast when that came out.
Yeah, and they did one. The same director did one before that. That was really strange and artsy because it just kind of like kept like a low point of view the whole movie, and you never could see what anybody looked like, kind of.
I
So
don't think I saw
it
that.
was interesting, but they're okay. I mean, the second one's better than the Francesca's better than the first one they did, but
There were two others, and I can't remember the name of them. I have like hard boxes for both, and I have like single like Blu-rays of both. I want to say they were French,
there
but
was the editor.
they had it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
I mean it's a parody, but it I haven't watched my copy yet.
I think I was the
You haven't
only
watched it?
person that didn't really care for that movie.
I've only watched it once, and that says a lot because when it comes to Astron 6 stuff, I usually have watched it multiple times. I've watched Father's Day probably, 5, 6 times or more.
Father's Day is their
But
best film.
yeah, but I've not
Mhm.
watched The Editor but once, and I think I've even watched Manborg twice. So
Network's not bad. They have started posting a lot of their stuff on YouTube during the pandemic. If listeners and viewers have not seen any, look around for Astron 6's stuff on YouTube.
Didn't know that. I don't follow
I
them
don't
on
even know if
YouTube,
they're,
which I should,
Mhm.
though.
I don't even know if they're still a group or not at this point.
Not really. They said they were having problems getting together enough to actually make stuff together. So I think their last
Well, the one,
thing they posted on YouTube, actually, it's called Cowboys, a Western kind of thing. It's
yeah,
a short.
the one of them that did the Void, I
Kostansky.
think, is doing something about like a demon thing that looks like a comedy. Looks a lot like a Astron 6 thing. I just can't think of the name.
Whatever he's doing, I'm on board because the Void was amazing.
God damn it. I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it. Because he's been posting pictures of it on YouTube, on Facebook. And I cannot remember the life of it from what it's called. But it looks amazing.
It does.
Any issues? Like, my major issue with it was I felt like the beginning of the movie was a little long. I think they put a little too much on her relationship. Like, I really think that apart from adding suspicion, we'll put it that way, like the big assault scene really wasn't that necessary kind of thing. And you probably could have cut like maybe 5 minutes from the beginning of the movie and it would have been a little tighter. That was one of my big things.
Yeah.
I think the beginning of the movie kind of sets a tone for it, though, because, I mean, obviously, I wasn't alive in the 79,
Mm-hmm.
and I damn sure have never been to Paris, but it kind of showed you a lot in that first opening sequence, a lot of the, like, just, like, gay bars and, like, because, on all honesty, like, that whole area had tons of places like that. And in my head, and this is just me going by, TV and movies and shit like that, but I was under the assumption that these places would have been more rare or harder to find.
I agree with you, although they do a second one of those kind of scenes too. And it does still definitely, though, you get the feel like they nailed down the feel of what that would have been like back then, basically.
Doubling back
Given
on the Costanza, or whatever his name is, movie,
Kostansky.
Psycho Goreman.
That's it. Yeah, they call it PG because I think it's a reference to the fact that they're kind of doing so they're calling it PG even though it's totally not going to be, basically.
Oh, it's like going to be super gory, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of gives me BioCop vibes, Didn't they do like the BioCop short?
Any issues you had, Chuck?
Yeah, the same ones you echoed. I thought it was a little bit long at first. Outside of that, I think it's at its best when we're getting more into the kills and stuff. I hate to complain about such a thing, but I feel like this one has a little bit too much character development, if that's a possibility.
Argument could be made.
Maybe we should have pounded through a few more kills a little sooner and just got rid of some of the romance stuff, and we'd have had probably a 5 or 4 out of 5 deal here.
I don't really think it needed to get rid of any of the romance because that really plays a part throughout the whole movie and it is a big deal towards the end of the film. But I think some backstory and some side characters that get introduced, I think that could have been cut a little bit shorter. Of course,
yes,
you have to have a little bit of that backstory to introduce one of the characters for the overall plot. But a little bit of time could have been shaved off for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you that they can't completely cut the love story out, but I thought that pieces of it could have gone. But yeah, it helps to kind of build her up as a character and build her up in other ways as well. So
overall, I mean, that's about the only thing. It could have been a little shorter, but I really, really liked it. Like, I knew it kind of had me won over because it was going to be a giallo, and I'm liking it already, right? And then I get into it, and then there's a fucking dildo switchblade, and that just moved it up a couple of notches in my eyes right off the first 10 minutes of the movie. But I really, really liked it. I'd probably go out and I'd probably buy this. For sure.
I would too. I would absolutely.
Is it available anywhere?
Good question. We were having a discussion, all of us recently, about piracy. Not that I'm suggesting people should do that, but one of the things about that kind of thing is there are movies that people release that you can't get in America. I have a thing I downloaded a long time ago. It's a movie called Helter Skelter. I had heard about it. It was like an Asian movie about like some woman who's like obsessed with plastic surgery. It sounded really interesting. There was no way I could think of to get it. It hasn't been released in America, so I have it that way. And I have another one we called Sexy Killer that I showed my wife, was part of what brought us together. That's the only way I can get it. Now, in the case of Knife+heart, there is a DVD. It's $18.42 on Amazon right now. Yeah. Blu-ray is 2015. It's coming from what company? Altered Innocence. Never heard of that studio. But it comes with an interview with the director and the co-writer. One of his short films, music video, a gothic video introduction. What appears to be in French of sperm and fresh water. The sperm et d'eau fraîche. The international trailer, the U.S. trailer, the XXX trailer, other trailers, a reversible artwork, and a fold-out poster insert.
I believe Altered Innocence, I believe, is part of CAV distribution, I believe.
Ah.
Yeah. It's the Blu-ray is $18.99 on Diabolic.
There you go.
So a couple bucks cheaper.
I might add that on to a purchase of Trailer Charmer 5.
There's a lot of movies like people want to own, though. You're talking about the bootleg thing, and I own, a pretty good bootleg of Fright Night 2 and of the rock and roll movie Trick or Treat, which had a German Blu-ray or something like that, a hard box or something back in.
I've got a hard box, and I've got a rip of it too. That's how I had to watch it.
Yeah, lately on Instagram, I've seen a lot of people posting some kind of BDRs they've been getting from some place called like Stinky Tuna or something like that, which I don't believe. I don't believe it's they're hashtagging it, so I guess it's okay to say it. But they've been like buying all the Netflix originals on BDRs, and apparently they look great. I've not got any of them myself, but they've already got like the Irishman and the Babysitter and all that stuff. And it's like professionally done bootlegs, apparently.
So they're probably watching it in high def on their computer and recording the screen.
Most likely.
And then making menus or whatever.
Like, the thing we were talking about with that is also, like, if they ever decided to make a legit Blu-ray of The Babysitter or of The Irishman, they may already have, I don't know.
I think
but a lot of horror fans
from the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, I think so. But when they do, if a horror fan's got The Irishman on Blu-ray, they're probably on bootleg, that is, they're probably going to buy it when Criterion puts it out. You said you have a really good bootleg of Fight Night 2. If someone finally puts it out in a version with special features, you'll buy it. It doesn't really necessarily kill things to do that kind of thing.
Well, I've got bootlegs, and you know what? When something, because I live in fucking West Virginia. I don't have a theater that shit comes to. I've got 3 theaters within driving distance, and they show whatever the blockbusters are. One locally owned one here will show every once in a while like a horror movie or something. Like we had one theater here, and it was the locally owned one that showed Devil's Rejects. That was it, and it showed it for a week.
See,
it's hard for me to get out and see shit.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I went to Pittsburgh to an AMC to watch Hatchet 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was when they were showing it unrated, and then like 2 weeks later, the MPAA shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to drive 2.5 hours to watch it. That's not something that I can do. But I can download 120 megabits per second, so I could rip a movie. I got Hatchet a year before it was on DVD. After it already did its independent theater run and all that shit. And I loved it. Eli and I, we fucking loved that movie. When it came out, we bought it. He actually bought it for everybody for Christmas. He bought like 17 copies of the movie. And then,
if you like it, you're going to buy it.
Yeah, and then I bought it on Blu-ray when it came on Blu-ray.
That's the thing, yeah.
But the thing about Shudder that bugs me, like there is some exceptions, but 90% of the time here lately, if they put one of their movies that are exclusive to them on physical media, they're doing a DVD that's pressed that you can find at Walmart, but the Blu-ray is a BDR. Why in this day and age, are we BDRing? Why is the Blu-ray not the priority at least? You know what I mean? Like, why is DVD taking the higher rank there?
Right, because the Blu-ray is going to cost. It's not going to cost much more to print, and you're going to get at least $5, $6, $10 extra out of it on the sale, and people are going to buy it because they want it in 1080 instead of 720 or 360 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, like my Blu-ray of Boar and the Furies and all that stuff is all BDR, and then of course I bought the DVD and stuff prior, and it's a pressed DVD, you know.
Like,
So
if I bought that and didn't know, because I fucking love Boar. If I bought that and did not know, I would be so mad when I saw that it was a BDR.
so basically, a warning thing to keep in mind is if 9 times out of 10, if you buy a Shudder exclusive and it's on Blu-ray and you buy it on Amazon, it's going to come to you burnt. Okay. If you want, if it bothers you that much, you know, you've got the DVD for $10 at Walmart or whatever. But the BDR is what you're going to get for the Blu-ray.
I am done buying DVDs. Now I will say that 4K player I just bought. I did that terror tweet last week with Jeff from Dead Air and Fright Rags and all those guys on Twitter, and we did Dream Warriors, and I could not find my Blu-rays for the life of me. So I popped in the Nightmare 3 DVD, and it looked fucking great on my TV with that upscale. But I'm done buying DVDs.
Yeah.
I get a few if I find a good deal, but mostly I'm pretty done with that too.
I still buy them. Like, I'll get like the indie stuff that I know is not on Blu-ray, but most of the time, like, I'll get it if it's at like Family Video for $5 because they're trying to get rid of it.
Exactly.
You know,
Hamilton Books. Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is they're still saying that DVD is still selling more than anything else right now, as far as physical media.
That wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me.
Damn shame.
Because some people would just rather buy it cheaper, you know. Because there's still a bunch of people out there that tell you they can't tell difference in a 4K and a Blu-ray and a DVD.
4K and a Blu-ray, I might buy that. Blu-ray and a DVD, that's a lie.
There's a subtle
difference,
like,
I know,
you
but
watch,
I'm just saying.
Like I popped in my Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 4K, and then I seen the difference. Okay, and then I watched Ready Player One on 4K. There's a big difference. You know, the only problem is that the first 4K I watched was it Brawl on Cell Block 99, and that 4K don't look that good. So I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. I was like, well, I can't tell a big difference in this. And then when I put on one that was, you know, designed not to look like an old movie like that one is, you see a big difference.
I think the first 4K anything that I watched on my new television was John Wick Chapter 3. And I watched it the night I hooked my TV up, and it was like Morgan walked in from the bedroom and she's like, I fucking hate that. I'm like, why? And she's like, he looks like he is real. He looks like he's in our room. And I'm like, oh.
Uncanny Valley.
Okay. But 4K, I'm buying shit in 4K now. I got Jaws in the day. Pretty pumped.
Yeah, it looks really good. Jaws does, but there's a big difference. If you had the old Blu-ray and you compare it to the 4K probably has like a more natural film look to it, whereas the Blu-ray was like so zooped up that everything looked glossy. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we might understand, but like you said, like average person. I don't buy an average person can't tell the difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray. I might buy it sometimes with Blu-ray and 4K.
I think the average person just tells the difference when they go to Walmart and one movie for DVD is like $12, but then it says 4K is $30. I think that's where they're like,
that's it. Yeah.
The barrier to entry.
We're getting to the bargain 4Ks already. Like there's already cheap 4Ks already.
I got Mayhem for $7.99. I got VFW for $10.
They're all from the same company for some reason. That same company, they did the Puppet Master. They did the.
It's because he's a real piece of shit.
I said it. Yeah. They did Arizona, the movie Arizona.
I watched the trailer for that. It looks actually pretty funny.
And it's pretty good. And then Brawl on Soul Block 99, like all that's like RLJE used to be Image Entertainment, but they switched over to this. The only one they've got that's not super cheap is I don't think not Devil's Reject. Reach from Hell is still a little bit higher, I think.
I mean,
Rob Zombie.
But still, I mean, Apocalypse Now, the 4-disc 4K with, the real cut of the film that no one's ever seen before is only like $17 on Amazon.
And you get the Voodoo code, which has all 3 cuts in 4K streaming.
So, I mean, it's definitely coming down in price, and it's coming down in price a lot faster than Blu-ray ever did.
That's my one problem, though, with the 4K release of Blade Runner, is it didn't give us all the cuts on 4K.
I've never been a huge Blade Runner fan, so I'm going to skip that. I've got the Blu-ray box set.
Yeah, well, did you watch the last Blade Runner, the last one they made? It's not bad.
I will eventually.
Yeah.
All right, let's
getting back to Knife+heart.
so let's wrap back around to Knife and Heart.
They were pretty much done with it then. Yeah.
Pretty much, but I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Same here.
I go 3.5. I'm not the big giallo fan that you are, obviously.
Right. Yeah, I get that. And to be honest, that's the thing. You giving a giallo 3.5 is like us giving it a 4.
Yeah. I mean,
because you don't like them as much,
That's probably what I'd give Deep Red.
Where's that fucking end call button?
hey, I give Ray 4.
Okay. I could easily give this a 4.5. I think just depending on my mood. Like the night I watched it, I would have given it a 4.5. Going back over it after a couple of days, it's a solid 4.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. We're just agreeing all over the board on these movies.
They're good movies, I guess.
I'm less picky than I used to be.
Chuck's grown up.
It's true.
He's about to turn 40, and
I've still got a few years before I hit 40.
All right. See, we get to make this joke. We're having fun at the same age here. We know you got some time to go.
But I went back and watched, or I didn't watch. I mean, you can't watch. I went back and read some of my old reviews from when I first started doing the site, like in 2009, and man, I was terrible. There was a lot of stuff that like I gave bad reviews to that should have had good reviews. A lot of stuff that I ranked low that I should have ranked really, really high. So I don't know. Like that's the bad thing about being a reviewer. Is you should go back and pre-check every movie every like 5 or 6 years.
I remember. I don't remember what it was, but it was in the whole time that we weren't doing anything. I know we had praised something on the show, and I went back and watched it like a year or 2 ago, and I was like, "What? This is fucking awful. Why did I like this?" And it was, I don't know, it was a low budget film, and I think maybe I was
generous because of the low budget.
Yeah, but it was bad.
What was that indie giallo that come out? They got like a DVD release, and it come out from MVD, and we watched it, and it looks cheap, but it basically just hits the greatest hits of all the giallo movies that ever came out before. Do you remember it?
I don't know. I don't remember at all.
Like somebody come in and was the killer, but then here come another killer to kill that killer, and it just kind of like rotated on for a little while.
I mean, I remember reviewing something called Bloodbath in the House of Knives at some point, and I thought I saw that got a DVD release, but I don't think that's it.
I know when the show's over, I'll figure it out, and I'll tell you guys what it was. But right now, I'm drawing a blank on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm looking at my DVD shelf over here because, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. But it was good, but it wasn't as good as at least I said it was. I remember.
Yep. That's what happens. Your opinion changes as you grow. You learn more.
See more stuff.
Yeah, you like more.
Yep.
Well, what's that? 4 episodes down, right? 4?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I don't know. But fuck, we don't know how to end a show. So anyway, that's the end of this show. Thanks for watching. Share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Send us some messages and we'll respond, and you can tell Chuck to shut up with a hashtag. See you guys in the next one.